Members and members of the public, welcome to the Minnesota Jobs and Economic Growth, Finance and Policy Committee. We welcome each person that's here today. I always do this at the start of our hearings. I sort of lay some ground rules just so that everyone know that there's a fair engagement or community engagement in this when we think in terms of this committee. As you can see, first of all, that we have a full schedule, and I am very much interested in making sure that everyone has an opportunity to present and that we can do it within our allotted time. I'm not a person who likes to go over if I can avoid it. If I'm going to have an extra hearing, then I will call an extra hearing, because then I think that would be appropriate. Just so, first of all, testimony. The author of the bill has an opportunity to take as much time as they need to give context to the bill. Every person who testifies after the author is only given 2 minutes, and I time you. So if you're one of those people who likes to be kind of long-winded, I'm encouraging you not to do that. Here's the second deal. The purpose of allowing people only 2 minutes to testify is because the thought is that their testimony will build on each other, not to spend time repeating what the other person has said. If you're only merely going to repeat what someone else says, then somebody becomes unnecessary. And so I just want us to make sure that you're able to present and that you give us as much important information as others. And I think that is fair, right? So thank you so much again. Welcome. And we're going to start with Senate File 1812, the wonderful and capable Senator Maye Quade. Her testifier is going to be Jake Blumberg. If I ever get your name wrong, feel free to correct me on the record, because that happens from time to time. So, Senator, thank you for being with us, and welcome to our committee. Spend the time you need to give us some context of your bill, and then at the appropriate time, we can go to your testifier and give them 2 minutes. Thank you, Senator Maye Quade.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I have to imagine all the people here today are just here in support of this 10-line bill that's really important. This bill is appropriating money to GiveMN, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about this organization. GiveMN is most familiar as the organization that runs Give to the Max Day each year, which helps fundraise for nonprofits across Minnesota. 2022's Give to the Max Day generated more than $34 million for close to 6,500 nonprofits across our state. And since their founding, they've raised nearly $500 million for more than 14,000 organizations throughout Minnesota. GiveMN is not just Give to the Max Day, though. They also run the successful RaiseMN fundraising coaching program for small nonprofits. To date, RaiseMN has worked with over 500 nonprofits in Minnesota. And so I'm here today with a grant request for $2 million to be matched by $1 million from the private sector for GiveMN. This will allow GiveMN to provide their RaiseMN services to 1,000 additional nonprofits throughout Minnesota, helping them become more self-sufficient and rely less on the need for government or large foundation funding. These organizations serve our communities in myriad ways, and the RaiseMN services will be focused on BIPOC-led and serving organizations, LGBTQ+-led and serving organizations, and Greater Minnesota organizations with budgets of less than $1 million. As you can see in your packet, there's a letter signed by more than 225 nonprofits that really stretch across the entire state. And they are really asking for your support of this legislation. So I will turn it over, Mr. Chair, to Executive Director of GiveMN, Jake Blumberg, to give more information about this organization and the request.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Blumberg, welcome to the committee. Please identify yourself for the record and who you're with, and proceed with your 2 minutes of testimony.
Thank you, Chair Champion and members. For the record, my name is Jake Blumberg, and I am the Executive Director of GiveMN. GiveMN ignites generosity and grows giving across the state of Minnesota through our programs like GiveMN.org, Give to the Max Day, and RaiseMN. I'd like to thank Senator Maye Quade for chief authoring this bill, and Chair Champion and Senator Putnam for co-authoring this bill, which asks for a one-time appropriation of $2 million. This will allow GiveMN to help 1,000 nonprofits across Minnesota become more self-sufficient and sustainable, while in turn positively impacting the Minnesota economy and employment markets. We were founded in 2009 as a nonpartisan, non-political organization that serves every 501c3 organization and public school in the state of Minnesota. We support their efforts to make their communities stronger. As the committee may already be aware, Minnesota's nonprofit sector makes up 14% of the state's workforce. The vitality of this sector is critical to Minnesota's economy. Nearly three-quarters of Minnesota nonprofits have budgets of less than $1 million, and according to survey research, nearly half rely solely on volunteers for their fundraising efforts. However, nearly 70% of Minnesota nonprofits are not confident their fundraising capacity is sufficient to meet their missions. GiveMN is an answer to that question, a coaching program to help nonprofits, much like a fundraising personal trainer. Since our launch, we have worked with more than 500 organizations, primarily small, many led by and serving the BIPOC and LGBTQ+ communities or in greater Minnesota. In the past year, 100% of participating organizations reported increased fundraising confidence and knowledge after working with us, leading to significant gains in their fundraising outcomes. The support we offer organizations allows them to adapt to their landscapes and makes them much less reliant on institutions like foundations and the government for funding, focusing instead on their strategies for individual giving. The organizations that we coach are now able to rely on donors in their communities rather than larger institutions for their mission.
Thank you, Mr. Bloomberg. What I will encourage you to do, as well as others, if there's any additional information that you want us to have, please feel free to give that to us, and we will distribute it to the committee. Question for you. It appears that GiveMN is a wonderful organization, but it appears that your work seems to be centered around helping nonprofits build the capacity or infrastructure for fundraising, as opposed to job creation. Am I correct there, or is there something that I'm missing, Mr. Bloomberg?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. There is a direct correlation to the economic impact that a nonprofit can have in terms of employment and their ability to raise money. Nonprofits have to be able to raise money to hire folks, and with nearly half starting off in our program being volunteer-led, their ability to add staff, which will then help them pursue their mission, is directly correlated to their ability to raise money. This appropriation will get them over the biggest hurdle they have, which is access to a program like ours. It's a chicken and the egg. If we don't have money, we can't pay people to pursue our mission. This access will allow them to do that.
Senator Maye Quade.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And one of the things I'll add too is that for a lot of nonprofits, they receive grant funding, whether it's from the state or from large foundations, but oftentimes that grant funding goes towards programmatic work and doesn't always support the ongoing costs of staffing an organization to implement that programmatic work, which is where donors become a really, really important piece of nonprofit sustainability.
Any questions for Senator Maye Quade or Mr. Bloomberg? Senator Maye Quade, you can give us closing comments before we lay Senate File 1812 on the table for possible inclusion. Senator Maye Quade.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I hope you take a look at the letter that is signed by the 225 organizations supporting this. It's in every single one of your districts. There is an organization supporting this legislation. This one-time appropriation could have the impact of helping so many nonprofits become self-sustaining and not have to come to legislators like ourselves to this legislative body to ask for money, because they're able to reach folks who are really deeply connected to the work that they want to do and are able to support it themselves. So I really hope for your support.
And Senator Maye Quade, thank you so much for being here, and it's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. With that, Senate File 1812 will be laid on the table for possible inclusion. Now we will move to Senator Fateh, Senate File 1696. He has two testifiers. They could join him at the table, namely Elena Gorder, and of course you can correct me on the table, on the record as well, and Jamar Smith, who's the Director of Northside Investment Cooperative Enterprise. Senator Fateh, welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll try to be within the 2 minutes, and if I'm overboard, feel free to deduct it from Senator Hauschild's bill.
And with that being said, let me just let folks know that a quorum is present. Senator Fateh, who wanted to go before Senator Hauschild.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. SF 1696 would establish a new program at the Department of Employment and Economic Development called the Community Wealth Building Grant Program. Minnesota does not have a specific state program that supports shared ownership business models, including cooperatives, employee-owned businesses, and commercial land trusts. By creating a program dedicated to supporting these types of businesses, Minnesota can provide solutions for some of our state's looming economic questions. For example, wealth-building opportunities for BIPOC households and communities, providing a path for baby boomers to sell businesses to their employees, and the longevity of small businesses for stable jobs and to meet community needs. One of the reasons I'm excited to carry this bill is because of the potential to help solve for instability and a volatile job market for home and community-based services. You will hear a little bit more about this work from some of the testifiers. Shared ownership models can create ownership opportunities for communities that don't have access to traditional financing mechanisms or generational wealth. They also help prevent displacement, revitalize tax bases, preserve affordability, grow and retain businesses or jobs, and strengthen local economies. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'll pass it off to the testifiers.
And which one would you like to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
Chair Champion, members of the committee, my name is Elena Gorder, and I am the Chief Executive Officer with the Metropolitan Consortium of Community Developers. MCCD is an association of 45 community development organizations, and we are also a community development financial institution. In our small business development work, one of the gaps we have identified is a lack of resources to support business and commercial shared ownership models like employee ownership and real estate investment cooperatives. The Community Wealth Building Grant Program, established through Senate File 1696, would target resources to support these models and help socially and economically disadvantaged entrepreneurs and business owners. MCCD has found that shared ownership models address the barriers that limit ownership, particularly in BIPOC communities, and create opportunities to build wealth. For example, if all U.S. businesses were to become 30% employee-owned, median black wealth would increase from $24,000 to $106,000 a year, and the average wealth of the bottom 20% of income earners would quadruple. MCCD is especially excited about our work to support the creation of employee-owned, community-based, home and community-based service cooperatives in partnership with DHS. This business structure pays better wages, on average $2 more an hour, and it retains workers 3 times as long as traditional agencies. To advance this work across the state, we are advocating for a competitive grant program at DEED. Financial resources through the Community Wealth Building Grant Program has the potential to change the landscape of small business and commercial ownership in Minnesota, and more importantly, to address disparities in BIPOC and low-wealth communities. Thank you, Senator Fateh, for carrying this bill, and Chair Champion for the opportunity to testify. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your testimony. I do have a couple questions, but we'll wait until after the next testifier, and then we'll see if there are questions for the both of you. With that being said, Mr. Smith, identify yourself for the record and who you're with.
Yes, Champion Chair, member of the committee, my name is Jamar Smith, and I am the Executive Director of Northside Investment Cooperative in North Minneapolis, also known as GiveMN. GiveMN mission is to purchase properties to create and maintain affordable housing and commercial spaces for Northside residents, prioritizing Black, Indigenous, and people of color through community ownerships. We like to say that the North Side owns the North Side. This work started in 2017 with the community to ensure that North Minneapolis can have affordability, ownership, and opportunity to build wealth in its own community. This year, the cooperative will purchase a 13-unit apartment building that will help sustain affordability for its tenants. And in partnership with Partners in Property Commercial Land Trust, we will purchase 4 commercial buildings that is home to 8 women BIPOC businesses like Miranda Hair Salon, Mimi Nails, and Pam's Furniture. This is all made possible by MCCD being a financing partner. With the cooperative and land trust model, we can ensure affordability will be accessible for North Minneapolis indefinite. I am here today in support of Senate File 1696 because the more the state can do to support shared ownership models, the more we can do to build wealth for community businesses and their owners in North Minneapolis and across Minnesota. As we all know, small businesses help define our communities and support the overall strength and growth of Minnesota economy. Thank you for this opportunity to testify, and thank you, Senator Fateh, and all the co-authors for your support.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. It looks like Your request, Senator Fateh, is for $15 million in fiscal year 2024. Then it looks like you're also requesting for money to be placed in the base. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, yes, that's correct.
And so, Senator Fateh, will there be a need for DEED to increase full-time equivalents to institute this idea that you have put forward?
No, we don't believe so.
Okay, okay. And then my other question is, I noticed that it says the commissioner shall establish a community wealth building grant program. So that would mean that DEED does not currently have a wealth building program. Is that right? It doesn't have one at all?
No,
It is my understanding that not at all.
All right. And then last but certainly not least, it seems like the money that you're asking for will not go directly to the businesses. It will go to partner organizations like community development financial institution or a nonprofit corporation. And tell me why you think that is the best route by which to go. Senator Fateh or any of the testifiers.
The program operates similar to the Emerging Entrepreneur Loan Program. So the funds come to the CDFIs or economic development organizations, and then we use those funds to provide low-cost capital to help to start the businesses. So it is, the funds are used to provide lending capital for the businesses.
So don't we have something similar to that right now, that DEED already gives money to partnership organizations, and then those partnership organizations distribute it based on the criteria that's been put forward? Case in point, there's the small business or the Main Street business deal that was just done. So what's your thoughts about that?
That is correct. However, these specific uses are not necessarily targeted for those grant programs, and we believe that to really elevate these opportunities across the state, that having targeted resources to do so will help advance further efforts like what's happening in North Minneapolis or with our DHS program.
And last but certainly not least, hasn't there been an equity bill since 2016 where there was an intentional target to black and brown businesses as well as those across the state? So tell me how this would be different than the equity bill.
Again, I believe that it is the specific purpose of the funds and really targeting shared ownership models. That has not been an issue that has been addressed by the state thus far.
All right. Any other questions for the testifier? Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, Senator Fateh, I'm just kind of looking at part of the bill, and it states that there'll be a loan fund that will loan between $50,000 and $2.5 million, of which the interest rate cannot exceed the prime rate. And I'm just wondering, interest is basically two things. It's the time value of money and the risk associated with loss. Where in the bill does it talk about any risk mitigation to the lenders so that they can lend at that rate?
Senator
Fateh or the testifier.
I can field that question. Each CDFI sets their own interest rates. And so while it does say that it's tied to Wall Street Prime, like for example, MCCD right now, our average interest rate is at, I believe, 4.8%. And one of the things that we do to mitigate any risks to the lenders is we provide technical assistance ongoing to our business clients. And so I think in that way, and MCCD operates as many of the other CDFIs, some of who are here today for other bills, we provide that technical assistance. And so this program, 50% of the loan funds would be repaid to the state, and the other 50% would remain with the CDFIs to provide that ongoing technical assistance.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate that you're lending at low rates, but it really doesn't answer my question is what's being done from the risk mitigation standpoint to allow for those, if we're going to cap the interest rate. I think it's great that you can go below it, but what about somebody who maybe doesn't have that same program, that same relationship, that same underwriting skill, or perhaps this will be opening it up to potentially a different pool of borrowers that may present a different risk profile. So again, I'll ask, what risk mitigations are being done so that lenders can lend at a capped rate.
Well, one of the things.
Testifier, and you have to
Sorry.
always come through me and wait until
Sorry.
I acknowledge you. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Chair Champion, Senator, one of the things that the state has, the Small Business Credit Initiative, those funds, there is a guarantee program that organizations can tap into. And so that would be a risk mitigation measure, having a guarantee behind those loans. Some of our organizations also have guarantees through philanthropy or other capital partners that act as risk mitigation.
All right. Any other questions for the testifiers? Seeing none, thank you so much. And Senator Fateh, you can give us closing comments before we lay Senate File 1696 on the table for possible inclusion. Senator Fateh.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I want to thank the testifiers for coming out. You heard from them what this would mean for our communities and our businesses and our workers. So I hope they're under support from the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. You all did a great job. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you for fielding our questions. With that, Senate File 1696 will be laid over for possible inclusion. We'll now go to Senate File 1794. Senator Hauschild, welcome to the committee. And it looks like you have a number of wonderful testifiers. And we're going to ask Sarah Sick come forward and Melvin Tennant to come forward, and then we'll call on the others after you all testify. But before our two testifiers, we are welcoming Senator Hauschild to the committee. Give us your opening statements, anything you want us to know about the bill or anything. Senator Hauschild.
Thank you, Chair Champion and members of the committee. Minnesota is a beautiful state. We all know that. We cherish the state that we live in, but we want the rest of the country and the rest of our world to experience it as well. And that's why I'm excited to carry a bill for funding to explore Minnesota tourism. Up in my area, I represent the Boundary Waters, the North Shore, and some of the most beautiful parts of our state. So it's no surprise that this bill would benefit my district in particular. But we also know that the Twin Cities and other parts of our state are key tourism places in the state. So what this bill would do is provide some funding for administrative capacity for Explore Minnesota in an appropriations, and it would also provide $10 million for promotional grants to entities for tourism purposes. The last portion of the bill is a specific appropriation to the Grand Portage tribe up in northeast Minnesota, at the very tip of northern Minnesota. And this is in particular due to the challenges that they have faced during the COVID pandemic and the lack of Canadian tourism, which they are most reliant on at their casino and at some of the tourism spots at the band. And so this would provide them $250,000 appropriation as well for promotional reasons. With that, Chair, I do have several testifiers, so I will leave it to them to explain more about the bill.
Thank you so much, Senator Hauschild. So we will go to, which testifier do you want to go first? Sarah?
Sarah,
Okay.
yes, please.
Identify yourself for the record and who you're with, and proceed forward with your 2 minutes of testimony.
Great, thank you. Mr. Chair and members, my name is Sarah Pasick, and I represent the Minnesota Tourism Growth Coalition, which is a statewide group of public, private, and nonprofit tourism organizations and businesses. And in your package, you also have several letters of support for this bill. We want to thank you, Senator Champion and Senator Hauschild, and the bill co-authors for sponsoring Senate File 1794, which will provide funding for a tourism industry recovery grant program. The tourism and hospitality industry was one of the hardest hit industries during the pandemic, and while there has been some recovery, that recovery has not been consistent, and recovery has not been even across the state or across tourism sectors, and we know that full recovery will take several years. We also know that the success of the tourism and hospitality industry plays a strong role in the success of a community. Local, regional, and state taxes provide support for community services. Increased tourism activity benefits local restaurants and bars, gas stations, grocery theaters, museums, event planners, stage crews, printing shops, outdoor recreation providers, and many more businesses. The bill under consideration today, as Senator Hauschild says, provides $10 million in one-time funding for our tourism industry recovery grant program. These grants will be used to support meetings, conventions, and group business, multi-community and high-visibility events, and tourism marketing, all aimed at restoring the tourism economy to pre-pandemic levels and building a vibrant tourism industry for the future. The grants can be tailored to meet the needs of a local community and highlight the unique businesses, attractions, and cultures in specific marketing campaigns or events. We also want to thank Governor Walz for his budget recommendations for Explore Minnesota that are also in front of your committee, including an increase in his in the base budget and proposing grant funding across a variety of areas aimed at increasing equity, diversity, and inclusion. We look forward to having more conversations with you, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Melvin Tennant.
Mr. Tennant, welcome to the committee. If you'd be so kind as to identify yourself for the record and who you're with, and give us your 2 minutes of testimony.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, Chair Champion, members of this committee. My name is Melvin Tennant, and I serve as the president and CEO of Meet Minneapolis, which is our Convention and Visitors Association, representing our community for tourism promotion. And again, I wanted to thank Senator Hauschild for authoring this bill, and for you, Chair Champion, for hearing it before this committee. We understand that Senate File 1794 would provide this $10 million for the recovery grant, and as the senator said, it is an ecosystem. The entire state is a tourism ecosystem, so we all depend on each other. And I will just tell you that the need for recovery remains very, very high. Specifically within the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, we're one of the most impacted regions in the country when it came to what happened at the pandemic. And at one point, actually, in Minneapolis, more than 50% of our hospitality industry employees were without jobs, and that was 36,000 people that make their living in Minneapolis, specifically in travel and tourism. And at this point, we're still about 25% down in terms of the number of employees we need to fully keep our visitors and guests' needs served. I'll say that we did make some gains in 2022, sir, and even with that, we still lagged behind the rest of the country. Minneapolis ended up at a 47% hotel occupancy at the end of last year, whereas 63% was the national average. So you see that we're still lagging very far behind. But I don't want you to leave here thinking that it's just about hotels, even though the hotels are the most accurate and easy measure of success of the industry. But it's really about also about small businesses, because most of the businesses in tourism are small businesses, whether they're caterers, AV companies, they could be florists, delivery companies. So we're really interested in helping those businesses get back on their feet. So we also are interested in an inclusive recovery, making sure that BIPOC businesses in particular are able to be served during this with these grant programs. So
thank you, Mr. Tennant.
I'll pause at that point, sir.
Thank you so much. And as I gave the invitation and encouraged others, if you have some additional information that you were not able to communicate today,
yes,
and if
sir,
you want to put that in writing, you certainly can. Before I go to the other remaining testifiers, Ms. Pasick, isn't it true that we already provided money for businesses, entertainment venues, for a cross-section of businesses when they were going through COVID in order to help bring them through? So I'm trying to understand why we have this request and what is different about this request than what we already allocated money for in order to help bring folks through the COVID pandemic.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm not as familiar with those grants. I know those went through the Jobs and Economic Development Committee last year, and I think they were more aimed at venues, shuttered venues, and different things, if I have that correct. These are grants that will flow through Explore Minnesota Tourism, and a lot of them will go to destination marketing organizations or convention and visitor bureaus to market events, do promotion, maybe create an event. So I believe that those are different from the grants last year, but like I said, I'm not an expert on those.
And just so
recovery
that,
grants.
thank you so much for that testimony. Just so that I'm being fair, there was money that we provided from two perspectives. One was for business relief payments that went, from the Department of Revenue that went to these smaller businesses like breweries, wineries, distilleries, fitness and recreation sports centers, bowling centers, specialty foods, drinking places, restaurants, and on and on. And then there was an allocation of resources for movie theaters and others. And so I'm just trying to understand what are some of the differences going on here. And then as I look in the bill itself on line 1.10, well, actually starts at 1.9 to 1.10. It says the grant program must provide money to organizations, tribal governments, and communities to accelerate how the recovery of the state's tourism industry. So can someone help me understand, what do you mean by must be used in order to accelerate it? What are some of the things that you are thinking in your mind that this money should be used for to accelerate recovery of the state's tourism industry? Mr. Tennant or?
Yes, Chair Champion.
Mr. Tennant.
An example of what we might use these dollars for would be a large-scale advertising program to really reintroduce markets to our, in this case, to our particular market, Minneapolis. We have a very large leisure market. We find out that most of our visitors come from either outstate, greater Minnesota, or contiguous states. And so during the course of the last couple of years, a lot of those visitors have not been coming back as frequently as possible. So we want to reintroduce ourselves, be able to really tell our story again, to reassure those visitors that we are a vibrant community that has activities and things for them to enjoy. So an advertising campaign would be an example of what we would do to really restore some of the tourism that we've lost over the last 3 years.
And Mr. Tennant, to that question, then who would be some of the folks that you'd use for an advertisement and marketing campaign? Because a part of the challenge that we've had is that these advertisement firms are usually not BIPOC, and they don't usually use or even have a strategy for BIPOC communities. So it sounds like we're trying to market to an important demographic, but how do we make certain that if we're going to give statewide dollars for a marketing campaign, that it includes people of color as well? Mr.
Yes.
Tennant.
Yes, Chair Champion. An example that we've been able to work on so far is the promotion of the city of Minneapolis' 7 cultural districts. Back in 2021, the city of Minneapolis established 7 specific cultural districts, including 38th Street, Franklin, West Broadway. And so we actually have outlined a very robust set of offerings for those cultural districts to then promote to various audiences. And to your point, sir, we've been able to use BIPOC vendors, photographers, writers to help tell those stories within those stories of the 7 cultural districts. So that's an example. Even though there may not be a large BIPOC business that is fully equipped to do an advertising campaign of this sort, we have been very intentional in finding BIPOC small businesses that can provide very specialized services, and we have several examples of that already, sir.
So, Mr. Tennant, I'd love to talk to you about that, because I'm not sure when the last time some people walked up and down West Broadway, and so I have a concern about that, and we can talk about that offline. But I know that there's some other testifiers, so I'd like to get to those unless we have any questions for these two. Did you
Chair
want to say
Champion,
something?
I just have one comment.
Hauschild.
I know you had mentioned sort of the recovery from COVID. You know, I don't necessarily just see this as recovering from COVID. In fact, I want to promote Minnesota always and hopefully create some more sustainable funding for our tourism entities across Minnesota. As an example, the Wisconsin Dells has a bigger budget than the entire state of Minnesota for tourism. So think about that. One entity in Wisconsin, our neighboring rival, has a bigger budget than the entire state. And so this is what, one of my efforts to try to get us back up on parity.
Thank you for that, Senator Hauschild. Well said. Rachel Thompson, she's on Zoom, but I'll wait until I go there. Amy Osborne, do we have Amy Osborne with us? And Jill Sims, if you're present, if we could have you two come forward, and then I'll go to Rachel Thompson who's on Zoom. So Amy Osborne, will you be so kind as to introduce yourself and who you're with? And let's go forward with your 2 minutes of testimony. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee. My name is Amy Osborne, and I am currently representing the community of Minnesota Resorts as I am a board member with the CMR, and I am a business owner. I own Lakewood Lodge with my family up in Deer River, Minnesota. We are these communities that you're talking about today. We are the rural communities. We are the small communities. My family and I just drove 4 hours this morning to get here. I'm not complaining, I'm just explaining that we feel very strongly about this, not only as a CMR, but I can tell you personally as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, and we're these communities you're talking about. I'm a disabled veteran. My husband is a disabled veteran. And we service these communities. We live on and in the reservation, and more than 90% of our personnel that we hire are Indigenous people. And we actually treat them very fairly. We pay them more than a living wage. We pay over $20 an hour on average of all of our employees. And I actually have a minimum work hour. So if you come to my resort and you work less than 6 hours, I still pay you for 6 hours. So when I tell you that these jobs we're creating are good jobs and they are bringing income to these Indigenous people, to the BIPOC people, that is 100% what I'm sitting here today to explain to you, is that not only myself, but resort owners at a large, this is what we do. We are these community members. We keep not only our entrepreneurship going, but our neighbors, the bait shop, the gas station. You know, I can tell you about Sean, who owns Fred's Bait, and I can tell you about his family. And this is what we do. And this money is going to allow us to have a stronger voice. Because my voice up in northern Minnesota, it is small, right? I can only get to a small people with my money. But as this money will allow, is we will have that larger voice. And Minnesota needs that voice. We need that voice nationally so that people come here. We get a lot of people from Chicago. That's expensive. Have you ever tried to advertise in Chicago? It is not cheap to advertise in Chicago alone by ourselves. So when you ask the question, what will this bill do? I can keep it really simple for you. The community of Minnesota Resorts is a community, and we're gonna benefit largely from this bill.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Osborne, for that testimony. And if you just wait a second after we get this additional testimony, then we'll see if the committee has any questions for you. Thank you so much for you being here and for us to hear your voice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Ms. Sims, please identify yourself for the record and who you're with.
Thank you, Chair Champion. Good afternoon, members. My name is Jill Sims, and I'm the Director of Government Relations at Hospitality Minnesota. We represent Minnesota's restaurant and food service, hotel and lodging, and resort and campground sectors. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of Senate File 1794. This legislation provides a much-needed investment in our tourism economy through $10 million in tourism industry recovery grants. These grants will help accelerate the recovery of the local tourism economy by attracting and retaining events, supporting communities, bringing back jobs, and helping hospitality businesses flourish. In the current environment, recovery has been uneven, with some operators doing well while others are still struggling to emerge from the effects of the pandemic. In particular, our Twin Cities businesses have been hit extremely hard with some of the lowest hotel occupancy rates in the country, resulting in over a $750 million in revenue loss due to COVID cancellations. Hospitality businesses continue to be faced with many new and long-term challenges to recovery, from a tight labor market, which remains down 15,000 workers, to inflation and supply chain challenges. Many operators are not expecting to see a full recovery until this year or later. Today, we have an opportunity to help fuel their recovery. This program will provide meaningful support to aid communities by attracting meetings, conventions, and larger events. These are really what help fill our hotels in the metro area as well as greater Minnesota. This bill will help every Minnesota community, as each and every one has a business tied to hospitality and tourism. We thank Senator Hauschild for bringing this bill forward and ask members to support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And before we ask you for any questions, we're going to go to the testifier who's with us online. Her name is Rachel Thompson. Ms. Thompson, can you hear us okay?
I can.
All right. If you'd be so kind as to state your entire name for the record and who you're with, and go forward with your 2 minutes of testimony. And welcome again to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Rachel Thompson. I'm the Director of Visit Greater St. Cloud to the Convention and Visitors Bureau in Central Minnesota. I'm also on the Explore Minnesota Tourism Council as a Central Minnesota rep and on the board of Minnesota Association of Convention and Visitors Bureaus. Here in support of the Senate File 1794, appropriation of $10 million for tourism. These grants are vital to all communities across the state to work in tandem on bringing the economic dollars to our region and our communities, as well as highlighting the entire state of Minnesota. In 2021, $43 million were spent at Minnesota leisure and hospitality businesses every day on average. Tourism matters to all of our local businesses, the economy, and it has a very large impact on the state's tax collection as well as the workforce. But we need grants like this to stay competitive in the marketing and attraction to all of our communities. We can be competitive with these dollars for our neighboring states. For example, in 2021, Travel Wisconsin gave out over $152 million in grants in the tourism sector, and $15 million alone was spent on destination marketing organizations. Travel Michigan also received $30 million in state funding for a winter campaign, and we need to stay competitive to ensure that we're capitalizing on all of the travelers' dollars to increase economic development across the state. These grants would provide all parts of the state access to increased destination marketing, event bidding, and would help support destination marketing. That is the intent of our organizations, and it will support Explore Minnesota tourism as well. So please support Senate File 1794 and the impact that it has on the tourism industry and all of our state. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much for being with us. Now, committee, any questions for Rachel Thompson, Amy Osborne, or Jill Sims? Any questions for any of the testifiers? Senator Nelson.
Chair, thank you. My question is for the author when we get to that, not the testifiers.
You can certainly ask the author a question or two now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Senator Hauschild, I'm just curious about the first part of the bill, $215,000 in 24, and then another $215,000 in 2025 to build additional administrative capacity. And I'm just wondering if you could describe what that is a little bit. Is that hiring new employers for employees with the Explore Minnesota Tourism? What is that?
Senator Hauschild.
Thank you, Chair Champion and Senator Nelson. If it's okay, I might ask Lauren from Explore Minnesota to possibly help answer that question. Would that be okay?
Yes, Senator Hauschild. So
I just figure hearing directly from her
absolutely
would be
the
more appropriate.
wonderful Tom Melton was just saying to me that we had the executive director in the audience with us. So welcome, state your name for the record, and answer the question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Lauren Bennett-McGinty. I'm the Executive Director of Explore Minnesota Tourism. And Senator Nelson, that I believe that dollar amount was picked up from last year when this bill was introduced, but essentially it's a fee on the grant itself. Typically it would be presented in a percentage, so 3 to 5%, but I think it was just picked up in that language, but it would be to hire a grant person. At Explore Minnesota, we've never had a program bigger than $1 million. So to be able to deal with $10 million would be a significant lift for us that we currently do not have capacity for in our existing staffing.
Senator Nelson, follow up.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I might not be doing the mental math correctly, but that looks like about 20% of the grant. That's a pretty high ratio, I think. Maybe I misunderstood. So it's a $500,000, half of that each year for a grant writer?
Sorry.
To the testifier.
Yes, thank you, Chair. It would be, I actually did not write the bill, so, and again, it was picked up from language from last year, so I can't verify what the intent is, but ultimately it would be a person internally that can manage the grant process, which includes following up with grantees, getting the reports done, and doing the financial back end piece of that as well, Senator.
Thank you.
Follow up, Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just say that sounds a little bit spendy, and so I just have some questions about how that might be used. And then you might be the person that could answer my next question, Mr.
Senator
Chair.
Nelson.
That is one of the concerns with the decrease in the lodging tax. I believe it's, if I'm not mistaken, is it the lodging tax that helps pay for Minnesota tourism? And if you're not the person to confirm that, maybe one of our researchers is, but I do believe that part of the lodging tax goes, I believe, to Explore Minnesota Tourism. If not, I'll stand corrected, I'm sure. But it is a concern when we see that our hotels, the lodging is down so much, and I understand you mentioned how that has impacted the tourism industry. I think Ms. Pissick mentioned that in her testimony. And so a lot of that we attribute to COVID. We attribute that to the civil unrest in parts of our state. But I think there's one thing, too, that we just have to consider going forward is, you know, we have to consider that things are changing regarding lodging, and particularly the advent of Airbnb and all kinds of additional lodging entities. So I see Ms. Pissick might be able to answer my question, I think, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Ms. Pissick.
Yeah,
If
thank you.
can, state
Again,
your
for the
name again
record, Sarah Pissick with Minnesota Tourism Growth Coalition. So the local lodging tax in statute is dedicated to go to convention and visitor bureaus. So none of that revenue goes to Explore Minnesota Tourism at all. It goes to the local community that has implemented the 3% lodging tax. 95% of that must go for marketing and promotion, or it must go toward the Convention and Visitors Bureau in that area. And so you're correct in that during COVID, when people weren't staying at hotels, the money that's raised from the lodging tax that is used for promotion or putting on events was reduced. And so these grants would be used primarily by those same organizations. Other than the administrative fee, the money in these grants would go to organizations, communities, to put on, to either attract convention and business travel, to promote the area, to do community events. That's the intent of these grants.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Nelson.
Just one final comment, and I appreciate your indulgence. And so my question then is, and thank you for that information, just something to consider if this were to go forward. It might be wise to look at this additional $10 million, which is a large grant, as you've mentioned, be somehow directed to those communities where maybe they don't have a lodging tax. Because the lodging tax, it pays for what we're speaking of here, but not every community has a lodging tax. And I just think it's important to keep that in mind should this proposal go forward, and maybe there's even an amendment to try and help clean that up a little bit at a later date.
And Mr. Chair and Senator Nelson, there's no requirement that you must have a lodging tax in place to receive one of these grants. It can go to a community that Explore Minnesota would operate the grants, and they have grant guidelines or would develop grant guidelines, but there's no requirement that a community must have a lodging tax in order to receive one of the grants.
Final
Senator Nelson.
I'm fine, just to clarify.
She sounds like a lawyer because she said this was my last question, then she came back to ask another question.
I shouldn't have said that.
Senator Nelson.
And so just to clarify, my concern or suggestion is at some point that as Explore Minnesota Tourism would look at awarding these grants, in your process, it appears to me that maybe there should be extra weight or consideration given to those communities that do not already have a lodging tax. That was my point. Thank you so much.
Any other questions for the testifier?
Chair Champion, might I just?
Senator Hauschild.
Thank you, Chair Champion. And Senator Nelson, I just wanted to address one of your questions earlier about the funding for the administrative capacity. It's 4% of the allocation, not 20. I just want to make sure that's.
Thank you for that. Any other questions for any of the testifiers? Seeing none, Senator Hauschild, you can give us your closing comments before we lay Senate File 1794 on the table for possible inclusion. Senator Hauschild.
Thank you, Chair Champion, and members of the committee again for hearing this bill. I want to promote Minnesota across our country. I think we have a gem here. and I want others to come to our state. I want them to spend money in our state, and I want them to be able to experience it. And I really think it's important that we get serious about the funding that we are providing to promote our state and our tourism industry, because it's really critical to the lifeblood of many of our communities. So I hope you'll join me in supporting this bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that, Senate File 1794 is laid over for possible inclusion. We'll now move to Senate File 1741, Senator Pappas. And it looks like Senator Pappas has two testifiers, so if they both could come up and join Senator Pappas at the table. And members, just so you know, this is a bill that, from my understanding, there is going to be a motion to pass it and re-refer it to the Committee on Capital Investments. That's my understanding.
Mr. Chairman, would it be
Senator Pappas.
okay with you if I address my comments and my testifiers to that bill and 1987? Because it's about the same organization.
Okay, yes, we can certainly do that, but then we will, yeah, that's fine.
Then make the motion
Yes.
separately, right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Senate File 1741 and Senate File 1987 are both for AEDS, the African Economic Development Solutions. African Economic Development Solutions strives to help their clients, mostly African immigrants, build businesses that create jobs with livable wages through loans, microloans, relief loans, technical assistance, and business development training. In 2022, they provided $1.1 million in loans and grants, helped serve 564 businesses, created over 800 jobs, and provided 10,000 hours of technical assistance. Aid staff and consultants help aspiring entrepreneurs turn their ideas into local businesses, from development to survive and thrive. This is done through business development training that teaches pertinent business skills that are indispensable for their success. Technical assistance and consulting support a diverse and growing portfolio of emerging and established small business needs. And with me, I have the Executive Director, Mr. Jean Gelgalou.
Welcome, and state your name for the record and who you're with, and go forward with your testimony.
Thank you, Chair Chapman and a member of the committee. Thank you, Senator Pappas, for carrying this bill. My name is Jean Gelgalou, founder, president, and CEO at African Economic Development Solutions, AEDS, a nonprofit organization that serves African immigrants in Minnesota. AEDS provide business development training program, cultural specific technical assistance program, lending, financial capability, and home ownership education and housing counseling, and a creative placemaking, which is the intersection of art and culture for economic development strategy. In 2020, during pandemic, our business development need for our service increased. Just in 2020, we served 1,400 clients. In 2021, we served 966 clients. In 2022, we served 895 clients. The increase in number of the service need for service in our, since the COVID is increased during the COVID, we're still in the COVID. And these businesses we supported, they created job and retained job, and most of those jobs are from the communities. Some of African immigrant businesses are, largely they are renters. And mainly those renters that are victim of threat to gentrification. So especially in the Midway and on Lake Street. We decided to preserve a building on 678 Snelling Avenue to purchase that business to have a grocery store, retail space, and a small African museum, and the second floor ADS space to provide business development service in that space.
And sir, if you can wrap up, because you only get 2 minutes, and so you're already over your 2 minutes already, so I wanted to make sure I give you a chance to culminate it if you're doing 1741, because that's the one that we need to re-refer. And then you could have another 2 minutes to deal with Senate File 1987 once we get there.
Oh, thank you very much, Chair Champion. AEDS requesting for the both loan, revolving loan fund and for the building, which we have two filing here, and to provide a small business loan for African immigrant. Nearly 67% of African immigrant don't have access to loan fund based on Dr. Corey's research.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kugler?
Yes.
Identify yourself for the record and who you're with, and give us your 2 minutes of testimony.
Okay, I'm Lisa Kugler. I'm a development consultant helping AEDS put together this project. The building is very much worth rehabilitating. It's very visible on the street. The brickwork is exceptional, and when the rehabilitation is complete, it will last another at least 50 or 60 more years. There'll be a grocery that will be a food hub that works to increase business opportunities by increasing the market for these farmers, manufacturers, and distributors. Many trade publications predict that African cuisine is becoming the next food fan. And that makes sense, right? Lots of veggies, no gluten, exotic spices. So when fufu becomes as common as tacos, please remember you heard it here first. Research has found that new businesses that receive wraparound services like AEDS survive beyond 6 years at twice the rate of businesses that do not get help. So AEDS creates or retains over 1,000 jobs each year, if even half of them fail every year, and that's way more than the reality. In 5 years, the number of jobs created and retained is 13,583. We have made 17 applications for private, federal, and local funds, and we've received an award from 14. We worked exceptionally hard to get a big EDA federal grant, but sadly, no one in the Twin Cities, as we know, got those grants. So you are the last piece of the puzzle, and we are ready to go.
Thank you so much for that testimony. Any questions around 1741? In fact, members, 1741 should not be in our committee. This should actually be in capital investments. So, so unless you're going to have some questions about that, I'd like to allow capital investments to do their own work because they do great work. All right, yes. I could read your mind, Senator Nelson. Let me just tell you. Any other questions about 1741? Members, Senator Mohammed moves that Senate File 1741 should be recommended to pass and re-referred to capital investments where it should be. Is that your motion, Senator Mohammed?
So moved.
With that, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. 1741 is passed and re-referred to the Committee on Capital Investments. Now we have 1987 before us.
Mr. Chairman, there is the A2 amendment.
All right. Let's see if there's an A2 amendment. Hold on one second. I see it. There's an A2 amendment. Senator Mohammed moves the A2 amendment. And this is your first stop, is that right, Senator Pappas? This is the author's motion or amendment. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The A2 amendment prevails. The A2, Senate File 1987 as amended is before us. Senator Pappas.
Mr. Chairman, and I think in the interest of time, maybe we could just have the testifiers come and address this idea. I think it's pretty self-evident what the bill is, and Mr. Guadalupe has some other testifiers here.
Thank you so much, Senator Pappas. We do have a number of testifiers, and we're going to ask them to come forward and ask them to relegate their comments, their testimony to 2 minutes. We have Idris Muhammad and also Wilhelmina Kennedy.
Yes.
All right. So welcome to the committee. Ladies first. Wilhelmina Kennedy.
Thank
Identify yourself for the record and who you're with.
Thank you, Chairman, Champion, and members of the committee. I'm here to ask your support for Senate Bill 1987. My name is Wilhelmina Kennedy, and I am the owner of Harvest African Market in Delhi, located in Coon Rapids. With the support of AEDS loan, I was able to expand my business from just an African dry and frozen grocery store to a deli. And the bill in front of the committee will assist entrepreneurs like me to turn my ideas into thriving businesses and expand and create more jobs in the community. Having survived the COVID-19 pandemic, my business needs a loan capital to meet future challenges. For now, my business has grown from just a market, African dry grocery, to foods online. So we do delivery and we do sit-in. So we need funds to help us to meet the challenges right now. To bring authentic ethnic foods into the country is very expensive, and also when the new deli, where we have more people ordering food online, we need to be visible. So there will be a time, getting a loan from the traditional bank is unthinkable. I worked for Wells Fargo for 14 years in accounting, and I left to do my business, and I just couldn't get a loan. And ADS was able to assist me, and I was able to expand my business. So this bill is critical for grassroots business development organizations. So this is why I strongly support them in order for me to be able to survive. So,
Thank you so much for your testimony. I'm going to go to the next testifier, but if you can wait there, then we'll see if the committee has any questions for you. Mr. Muhammad, please state your name for the record and who you're with, and begin your 2 minutes of testimony. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Idris Muhammad. I am with African Economic Development Solutions, and I have been actually on the other side. I was also in business for some time, and now I am on this side. Already we discussed in the other bill, but I just want to reiterate the research study with Dr. Corey about the African immigrants and their contribution and the economic disparity here in Minnesota. And also there are other research that have been done that shows the correlation between the correlation between funding, giving access to capital for immigrants would increase wealth building. That would in turn also contribute to the individual income, family income, community income, and so on and so forth. So that is why I support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Any questions of Wilhelmina Kennedy or Mr. Muhammad? Any questions of these two testifiers? Seeing none, thank you so much. We'll go to the next two testifiers, Asha as well as Abdi. If you both will come forward. Thank you so much.
Mr. Abdi cannot make it, so we
Okay,
just have Mr. Osha.
Okay, sounds good. If you state your name for the record and who you're with, and give us your 2 minutes of testimony, and thank you and welcome to the committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Committee Chairman Senator Champion, member of the committee. I am here to ask you a support for Senate Bill 1987. My name is Fraoli Usha. I'm the owner of Twin City Mobility, Inc. Twin City Mobility, Inc. founded in 2009. We started non-emergency medical transportation first. Now we expanded to type 3 school bus transportation. With the support of ADS in business structure, accounting, and marketing, I was able to secure more contract for business and created 48 jobs. The bill in front of the committee will assist entrepreneurs like me to turn these ideas into thriving businesses and expand and create more jobs in the communities. Having survived my business needs and an infusion of loan capital to meet future challenges. Given my experience since the establishment of my business, securing loans from traditional banks is not even thinkable. I tried so many times, I'm unable to get any loan from the bank, even I bank. There will be time when I and my business will be bankable, but until then, I need the critical support of grassroots business development organizations such as ADS to stay in business. That is why I strongly urge you support for and passage of the bills. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Gilgaloo is back if there's any questions.
Any questions for either one of the testifiers? And I know Mr. Gilgaloo gave us some information when he did his first line of testimony around this bill.
And you should have a handout in
Senator
the
Pappas.
packet from the organization.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Seeing none, Senator Pappas, do you have any closing comments that you will have for us before we lay Senate File 1987 on the table for possible inclusion?
My only comment, Mr. Chairman, is that these African immigrants are amazing entrepreneurs and really hardworking. And you could see that, being new to the country, having to learn all our customs, they come with just a strong business sense. They know what they're doing, and they know they have to seek out assistance and help to make sure that they know what all the rules and regulations are, and ideas about marketing and accounting. And Mr. Gilgaloo and the organization AIDS has really provided that kind of service for them. And it's been successful, and I think we should continue to support them. I don't understand why some of the local banks aren't supporting them, because we do have community banks, but that's unfortunate because these are just amazing businesses that provide really good jobs for the local community.
Thank you, Senator Pappas. With that, Senate File number 1987 will be laid over for possible inclusion, and thank you to each and every testifier. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
With that being said, we will now go to Senate File 2035, Senator Hurd, and if your testifier would join you as well. And Senator Hurd, when you're ready, you can give us your opening testimony, and then you can introduce your testifier, and we will go there. Senator Hurd, welcome to your committee. Thank you so much.
Chair Champion, and I want to voice my support to the African Economic Development as well. The Latino Economic Development Center is very, very similar to the African. It's just specialized in the clientele that they serve. So this Senate File 2035 is asking for appropriation of $4 million to the Latino Economic Development Center, or LEDC, to assist them in their work in the economic development and workforce. LEDC has been assisting and supporting financing and launching hundreds of successful micro entrepreneurs since 2003. They work in the Metro and Long Prairie, Wilmer, Owatonna, Austin, St. Cloud, and Rochester, among others. They help entrepreneurs through every step of launching a business, including training. LEDC also provides one-on-one technical assistance to farmers and emerging farmers that I can attest to. My testifier here will explain to you more the work of LEDC that are located in various parts of our state. And so let me introduce my friend here, the former executive director of one of our state council, Henry Hermines, and now executive director of the Latino Economic Development. So,
welcome. Welcome back to the committee. Introduce yourself for the record and who you're with now, and provide your 2 minutes of testimony. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Henry Jimenez, the Executive Director of the Latino Economic Development Center. I'm here to testify in support of Senate File 2035. For nearly 20 years, LEDC has helped hundreds of small businesses start or expand their businesses throughout Minnesota. In 2013, we became certified by the federal government as a community development financial institution, and shortly after that began providing capital in our community. Last year, we supported 1,100 clients with their entrepreneurial needs. We did this through 4 departments: lending, business development, workforce and training, and agriculture. Access to capital continues to be the biggest barrier for our clients to start and or expand their businesses. In the last 5 years, LEDC has been able to lend to 136 businesses patient affordable capital that has accounted for $7 million and has leveraged nearly $15 million in additional funding to these businesses. Our sector has been on the rise and on demand. And with this state investment request upon you today, we are strategically positioned to be able to nearly double the number of lending clients we will be able to serve in the next 3 years, and therefore also increase the leverage funding to these clients. These investments from the state will help us leverage federal and private funding. Not all 1,100 clients that come to us really are ready to start their business or access capital. However, everyone is ready to acquire workforce training through our ongoing education programs, small cohort training, and one-to-one technical assistance. We never turn anyone away. We might tell clients they need to take our entrepreneurship class before considering opening a business, or ask them to meet with our business coaches, or take an OSHA or Serve Safe training course so that they can be promoted in their current job or seek a higher wage career. Lastly, I want to highlight the last 2.5 years we supported 500 businesses access $22 million in federal, state, and local funding. We also became the #1 administrator of COVID-19 Housing Assistance Program, administering nearly $14 million to 5,000 households across 61 counties across the state. And we weren't even a housing organization. I say this because nearly 20 years of LEDC has been fully committed to supporting our Minnesota small business sector.
You got to finish up. Thank you so much. You're well over your 2 minutes.
I'll just take questions then.
No, you want to just finalize it. Did you have one last sentence that you want us to hear?
No, that's it.
Oh, that's
I think
it. Well,
you
that's
got
good.
it.
I even like that even better. That was right there.
The last thing was just to thank you, so I can do that
Thank
later.
you.
Yeah.
I see that with this appropriation that you're asking for $4 million, and it seems to be bifurcated. Can you tell me why, or what's the difference between what's in Section 1A versus what's in Section 1B?
You know, Mr. Chair, thank you for that question. We're a nimble organization. We do workforce, but we're also a CDFI, so we provide access to capital to entrepreneurs and small businesses. So based on the jurisdiction in the House, it would be 2 different bills. In the Senate, you guys are more concise, get it done, 1 bill.
All right, any other questions for the testifier? Senator Nelson.
Oh, just a comment, Mr. Chair. Very nice to see you again,
see you,
Mr.
Senator.
Jimenez. I served with him on our Minnesota Council on Latino Affairs for a number of years, and always appreciated your laser focus on education and economic development. And they go together, we know that.
yeah.
So well done. And I just want to say how much I appreciate what you do. And just give a shout out to Lamiko Oakana in Rochester, one of our new Mexican ice cream shops. I know I became their best customer during the campaign. That was my stop every night. It's absolutely fantastic. But I think you had a part to do in that as well. And it's just really exciting to see some of our newest Americans achieve the American dream, opening, running, starting a new business. And I think empowering Minnesotans in that way is a very important thing.
Thank you, Senator Nelson. Any other questions for the testifier? Seeing none, Senator Hurd, your final comments before we lay Senate File 2035 on the table for possible inclusion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and hearing positive remark from Senator Nelson just got me thinking. One of my constituents that now living in the east side St. Paul, and the demographic is changing, and didn't quite like the changing demographic, and I was thinking about moving out, but looks like they're probably everywhere that we go in the state of Minnesota. The emerging entrepreneur are there, and now our state are strengthened upon our multicultural community. So, I wish that my constituent will change his mind and just remain on the east side, because we're very much alike in Rochester and many other places. But thank you for looking at this bill, and I ask for your support.
Thank you so much. With that, Senate File 2035 will be laid over for possible inclusion. Thanks again. Members, we'll now go to Senate File 2185, which is Senator Nelson. This is Rural Economic Development Technical Assistance Grant Appropriation. Senator Nelson is approaching the testifier table, and she does have 2 testifiers that will join her. As usual, once Senator Nelson gives us her opening statement. We then will go to her two testifiers, and she can determine which order she wants them to go in. Senator Nelson, welcome to your committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Very nice to be able to present Senate File 2185. I thank the committee and the chair for putting it on the agenda today, and also my co-author, Senator Miller. You know, we've talked about this committee. This is why I love the Jobs Committee. It's really about economic development. It's about empowering people through economic development. And this bill specifically is for the Rural Economic Development, or CEDA, Community Economic Development Association. And I'll tell you what it does, and I'll tell you just briefly about why I'm so excited about this bill. Number one, some of our smaller cities, just because of the economy of scale, they do not have the resources in place to have economic development, people focused solely on economic development in their small cities. And to take advantage of the many things that we do here in this community, this committee, the state, and also federal economic development possibilities as well. And so while they don't have that dedicated staff solely to economic development because the size of the communities just does not allow for that, they do have an opportunity, though, with this bill to participate in CEDA, Community Economic Development Associates, and I will tell you that I have worked with this community, this committee. I have seen how CEDA has brought businesses into our smaller communities. And just to give you an example, I've had 2 mayors come up to me and say, working with CEDA was the best thing we ever did. And so what the request is, Mr. Chair and committee, is it appropriates, Senate File 2185 would appropriate $627,000 one time as a grant to CEDA, Community and Economic Development Associates, to provide funding for economic development, 2 things. It's a two-part request. Part of that is for economic development technical assistance as the projects are developed and as resources are looked at across rural Minnesota. And this is in small cities, all right? And then the second, and that's about 100, this grant would provide 150 hours of technical assistance to 18 of our small cities across the state, and that would be cities under 3,000. And of that appropriation, then there would be $270,000 used to implement one of those projects. And again, they have a tremendous, tremendous track history. And it would be such an advantage to our smaller communities. We have a lot of advantages now that we didn't have years ago when we look at high-speed internet, for example. High-speed broadband, we can have businesses, people can choose to live in places where before they might not have chosen. But I think with the advent of having great schools, high-speed broadband, of course a good bank's always important too, we can see a real rural renaissance, and CEDA can help with that, with this grant, with sharing, quite frankly, their expertise. And to start, Mr. Chair, I would turn it over to Ron Ziegler, the CEO of CEDA USA.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the committee. Identify yourself for the record and give us your 2 minutes of testimony. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Ron Ziegler. I am CEO and President of Community and Economic Development Associates. I am going to yield my time to Chris Geeson, who is our Vice President. I'm here for questions at the end, too. So
thank you so much. And to the testifier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Chris Geeson. I am the Vice President of Community and Economic Development Associates, or CEDA. And thank you to Senator Nelson for sponsoring this bill, as well as Senator Miller. We are a 501c3 nonprofit based in Chatfield, Minnesota. And as Senator Nelson mentioned, we work with a number of rural communities across the state. We have 44 staff members. We're led by 7 volunteer board of director members. We've been around since 1986. We assist rural cities, generally 8,000 in population and under, and rural counties and other community organizations in those rural spaces across Minnesota, as far north as Itasca and Koochiching County, as far west as Lac qui Parle County, and as far south as Fillmore and Houston County. So we're all over. We work with about 60 or 70 of those communities across our network. We hear about Metro and Greater Minnesota often, but we work with the third category, and that's rural Minnesota. These are the small cities that are the bread and butter of our great state. Our mission is to give these small cities a swing at the plate, and too often we run into cities that just don't have the financial capacity to take on these economic development opportunities that their neighbors might have just to the side of them. They might only have a part-time city clerk, they might only have a part-time staff at City Hall to be able to take on these types of projects and take advantage of the programs that the state puts forward. But this bill would provide funding to allow those small cities to have the technical assistance to create a basic platform for economic development in the most basic initiatives, things like childcare, entrepreneurial services, revolving loan funds. There's a lot of MIF funds out there in these small cities that are idle. So this would help get those back into swing. So again, as the Senator mentioned, this would provide $15,000 for project funding to help the initiative move forward, as well as about 150 hours of technical assistance. And we'd be able to help 18 cities across rural Minnesota. This would be cities that are 3,000 in population and under. We would take those applications based on need and report back to the state our findings. That's all I have.
Thank you so very much, and thank you to both testifiers. And I know you yielded your time to your colleagues, so thank you so very much. Any questions for the testifiers? I do have one question. My question is on line 1.11. You have market in there, so it sounds like to me that you are asking for this committee to allow usage of any appropriation to help market a business? Is that what you're asking us to do? Tell me what that means. To the testifier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good question. No, that's not necessarily tied to marketing a specific business or community, but it would be to help get the word out, to get these dollars in the hands of the cities that could use it, as well as perhaps creating a marketing campaign for the community might be the basic platform that community chooses to use the funding for.
And what percentage of this appropriation would you conceivably think should be used for marketing purposes to market that the funds are there and what you all are doing? To the testifier.
I don't have a specific number, Mr. Chair, on that, but it would be less than 10% for admin fees across the board.
All right. Any additional questions for the testifier? Seeing none, thank you so very much. Senator Nelson, thank you for bringing the bill. If you have any closing comments before we lay Senate File 2185 on the table for a possible inclusion. Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just appreciate the committee's time. This is a proven entity that has helped many small communities. This particular project would help some of our even smaller communities and empower them through economic development. So I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, Senate File 2185 will be laid over for possible inclusion. Members, let me just say this, members. I really appreciate you all being here, and you're such a wonderful committee. But you know what would really make me happy? If you would get here on time. That's important because we have some, and I know Senator Hauschild was here on time, but I'm not going to call on anyone in particular. I'm asking you to come on time. On this coming Wednesday in particular, we have a member of Congress that is going to come in because there's going to be a presentation on something that we really, really want to, consider. I'd like for us to show Congress how to do things by being on time and ready to do business, okay? And we also have other things that are coming up later, so please make sure that you stay in touch, and if you have any questions, let us know. And with that, unless you have a question, the committee is now adjourned. Thank you so very much.